Catherine. I work with Aweyndd Shamanic practices, and I'll explain a little bit more what that's about. I quite like this quote by Don Jikaram. The medicine wheel, the fourfold path of knowledge, is also called the journey of the four winds. It's a legendary journey that initiate takes to become a person of knowledge.
Oh, Catherine, are you recording?
Yeah, I think so. Has it not said it's recording?
Oh, it is. Yeah. Oh,
Ah.
it's technology's in my way. Yeah.
This is going to be one of those days. So this is my little plan. Check-in we've already done. About me, hopefully going to take a couple of minutes, a little bit of research, and then a couple of practices, if that sounds okay. That's the plan anyway, for this. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those nights. So yeah. So people like to know a little about my background. What can I say? So from a young age, I was having kind of insights, but I didn't really have anybody to mentor me or know what they were. Had little nudges to come down onto this kind of path, but I didn't really know about this path. And then eventually, in about 1999, I became more and more ill. And then I had an operation because they found out it was gallstones. And because I was young, they said, "Oh, you're young, it's hereditary, you have to have a gallbladder out." So I had my gallbladder out and I came out worse than I came in. I had intermittent paralysis, constant pain, and yeah, just was very disabled, couldn't even hardly feed myself. So I had no choice but to make an effort and find different ways to get better. I tried so many things, lots of things helped me, but not long term. And I had to keep finding. I'd written one of my insights out, or a couple of my insights out on a MySpace blog, if anybody remembers MySpace. And
Yep.
yeah, good. And somebody had written, somebody said, "Oh, I think you're talking about what this person's talking about." And they gave me a book by Dr. Alberto Viodo called Shaman Healer Sage. And I read it and I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I was talking about. It's not just flights of fantasy or thought experiments or interesting things to think about. This is something that has been known for, just been known for generations, really. Um, I went to a workshop by Dr. Alberto Viodo, and I had a choice then. I was either going to have to do this training or spend the rest of my life bedbound in pain, like the doctors said that I was going to have. So I did the training, and just bit by bit, I got better and better. So I got diagnosed later with functional neurological disorder, complex regional pain syndrome, fibromyalgia, yeah, lots of different things like that, or nerve damage from the operation.
Oh,
Um, yeah, yeah, things did help. Acupuncture helped, massage, lymphatic drainage, but yeah, it wasn't enough. Eating healthily, all of that holistic thing, it helped, but only so much. I was still getting paralysis. So from doing the training in 2009 was my first training. Little by little, I started getting better. It's like it was little. It wasn't one of those. I'd love to be one of those people that's like, oh, it's a miracle, it's a cure. I had 5 sessions and that's it. It has been for me very, very slow progress, but very gradual, but very amazing. So, I was 99% bedbound in pain. I don't know what my percent is now, but it's not that. I'm able to, work self-employed. I'm able to, yeah, do lots more. It's helped me on so many different levels. I became a teacher in 2014. I didn't plan on it, but enough people kept asking me to be a teacher. And in the end, I listened. That phrase, when a student is ready, a teacher appears. It was for me, it was when the teacher is ready, the students appeared, and I got the hint, and I did some more training to learn how to teach it. And then, yeah, I've done lots of training with different people around the world, including from this country as well. So all brings it together. And yes, I work different places around the UK, online, abroad, yeah, festivals, events, all kinds of things. And I found so much benefit because, for 9 years, the mainstream medicine people were trying to help me and they just couldn't help me. They tried everything. And I was like, wow, this has helped me so much. It's helped my clients so much. I've had people get better much quicker than I am. I don't know whether I'm just slow or what, but I was like, oh, so how can I bring this to more people? And I had the degree near me called complementary therapies for healthcare. And so I did a degree in that. I thought, well, it's complementary therapy, that will count. And then one of my clients said, oh, it's like a very deep psychology. So I was like, oh, it is a bit. So I did an MSc in psychology to see. Then I did lots of trainings in ACT, which I like, and DBT, which I really like, which are very influenced by meditation practices, which is influenced by shamanic practices. Hopefully that's enough about me. I could say so much more, but I'm writing a book, so if you are interested, there's a bigger story, many, there's so much I could say, so many different levels I've experienced. So I could say more, but yeah, you can ask, you can guess some things, yes, there's trauma in the background. There's just so much I could share, really. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about shamanic practices, because there's so much misinformation and information out there. So this is my proviso, it's coming from my understanding, my experience of these however many years. So even coming to the term shaman, I prefer the term Aweyndd. That's the term from Wales, from Brython, or Albion, whichever word you want to call it. But shaman is just a well-known name for it. So sometimes I'll say Aweyndd because that's the term really from this country. But shaman, it's there. But people are even not sure about the term shaman. So lots of people are saying it's from Siberia, so it's only Siberian people. But actually, the term shaman was actually found 450 years before. They recorded it from a Dutch diplomat who went to Siberia. So they don't know exactly where the even term name comes from. They think probably China, because in the Jurchen language there's a record, but actually it's found in lots of different languages. So I can send you presentation things. So this is this is just to give an indication. So like you've got the Zaib language, Sa Memi, where Sa means knowing or understanding, and Memi was an honorary title for somebody with a woman for expertise, like Dief Memi is midwife, or Memi is grandmother. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And the Jurchen language, shaman, also means elder sorceress, which is very interesting. And there's lots of other languages around those kind of areas where Sa means making known or knowing. And interestingly, the Aweyndd word also means that knowing, that kenning, that inner knowing, that access to wisdom, as does the Maori word Tohanga. In Mongolia, the Bo means clever. So there's definitely some links there. And then there's other names for shaman, different places like Pacos, which I have no idea the translation. I haven't been able to find those. So it's very interesting, very, very interesting. So so the Aweyndd is my favourite, because it just means a lot to me. As soon as I heard the word Aweyndd, I really felt viscerally what it was. It's somebody that dips into the Aweyndd, and the Aweyndd, I imagine, is this amazing river of wisdom and experience that anybody can dip into and bring back this wisdom, and they can also add that experience. So I love that Aweyndd, somebody that accesses wisdom. So that's why I see relating with the DBT, the wise mind, or the ACT coming into that present moment. So they say all the great teachers, so all the great books that have been written, all the great scrolls, they could be described as Aweyndd. There's so many things come from that. So much so that shamanic practices, or Aweyndd practices, whichever word you want to use, have been found all around the world. For most countries has got some kind of history of it, and it's thought to go back 35,000 to 70,000 or more years ago, and associated with pivotal moments in our cognitive evolution. The use of symbolism, the expansion of working memory. So it's very many years ago. And of course, some places it's still the main form of medicine, and we're kind of using it a lot more in the West now. Definitions and practices. So again, this is all from experience, this work to me. So I'd be very wary of any definitions and practices. Some things I read, like shamanism is, and I'll read it and be like, well, that's not what it is for me. And other ones I read and say shamanism, and I say this is what it is for me. So combining research and my own experience, if there was a commonality, if there was, realizing it's a broad non-church and there's individualities around it, it's a bit like that river. There's different tributaries, there's different streams. That commonality, you could probably say a commonality is that that it's experiential. It comes from experience. There probably is forms of shamanism where people become more religious, but for me, the essence, the people, the teachers around the world that I've worked with, it's come from experience. So when someone says something, it's not a belief because someone has told them it, it's because they've experienced it, if that makes sense. So it's for me, this comes from experience rather than being telling. But you might find other people that'll say otherwise, just made up a thing. And looking at the studies, it does seem to be a commonality that they do facilitated altered states of consciousness, also known as shamanic consciousness. And with that altered state, you get a keen sense of awareness, has been reported, in a travel, in a knowing, and being able to access in non-ordinary consciousness or the subconscious or the supraconsciousness to get that wisdom, get that information. And I find that really useful. I'm enjoying dipping into the NHS and all the formulation, and I really like that and working with that flexibility and find that's important. But I also like the way we kind of go into subconscious and find the answers. And some answers that I find in the subconscious working with myself or other people, it would have taken years of formulation to work out what it is, what was the root cause underneath all that. You dive into the subconscious, you find the root cause, come back, and then it's like, oh, of course that's what it was, of course that makes perfect sense. So yeah, it's a really great compliment. And there's different ways of accessing the subconscious, accessing the Aweyndd, whichever word you want to use. So a lot use drumming, a lot use plant medicines, linguistic tools, words, some use dietary changes, writing. So there's lots of different ways to do it, but I would say that's the commonality, a slightly altered state where you access information. So you can see that thing in things like EMDR, meditation, some forms of coaching when you're asking questions and getting the answers out. So yeah, I can call you all Aweyndd, that's all right. Look, I wanted to just touch on a couple of studies because I quite like the studies. There isn't really enough, really, considering we've been around 35,000 to 70,000 years. There's mainly anthropological studies, which is great. There's thousands of them. But not so much clinical studies. And the thing in the anthropological studies, it's kind of seen from a colonialist viewpoint, whereas it's probably, it's probably a little bit outside that. But it's coming back from the colonialist viewpoint, wanting to look at clinical studies, it is quite interesting. There was like a study in 2007 that found people with TMJ, their pain reduced with, for most of them. This was complex conditions. It was TMJ, but also commodities like depression or headaches. And even from going from 23 people, 21 completed all sessions. They were all diagnosed with TMJ. At the end, only 4 were, big changes in physical pain scores. And the quality of interviews post-treatment and the quality of interviews 9 months later showed that it continued, and it more than just lessening pain. There was like improvement in self-awareness, in their relationships with the people, their ability to cope, their trust in the self, and trust in nature and connection with nature. So it's a lot to study. It'd be really nice to have more. There was a case study series I found with veterans of PTSD. 2 out of 4 participants had really significant change. One changed so much that it wasn't just the physical, it wasn't just the mental, it was also their quality of life. They found work that fulfilled them and could support them financially. One participant, their overall score was 0, but it was more. But there was potentially, if it was longer, it probably might have done more, because it was just towards the end of the 8 sessions that he was starting to get, score improvement change. Another one wasn't so much, though he had, lots of psychosis. So that they would interrupt the sessions. And then another participant, this makes me see how important it is that his daughter was being very badly harmed by his son-in-law, and that would make anybody become violent, never mind a veteran with PTSD. And he started driving to the house. He was so angry. He had intentions there to really, not just harm. But he got close and he stopped, and he did one of the exercises that was taught, and he just drove back home. So that literally saved him from prison and saved that life. So that's how strong the changes can be. And that was only 7 or 8 sessions. Other studies, qualitative studies, people dealing with life-threatening illnesses such as cancer, HIV, they found that they had a increased sense of presence, more self-direction, more acceptance, more resilience. Similar with somebody with bulimia as well. She experienced emotional healing. An oncology client, she found that she felt quite empowered and motivated. And there's a biological study as well which showed changes in the brain. So there's some clinical studies, but not so much. I just want to say a little bit about the contraindications considerations. So if you don't want to join in the couple of exercises that we'll do in a minute, you don't have to. But these contraindications considerations are not in any of the studies that I found. This just comes from experience. Although one of the studies did mention the person that was experienced psychosis. You might have seen an article that says shamans say psychosis isn't a mental illness, it's an awakening. Well, in some cases it is, in some cases it's not. I would say it's not, from my experience. So I've had clients, for example, that have had psychosis, but I've had a willingness to ground and connect with this reality. And one session, they've just come back to this reality, and they don't experience psychosis. It is more of awakening. But then I've had other clients where it's very clear that it's more, there's things like fears personified. There's other things that I would love to research more. It's almost like they're punching holes in reality and bringing stuff through. It's not all, and some people both, but so it's not clear cut. Though it'd be lovely if it was. So lots of my students, I say, go around, do the training a couple of times before you necessarily work with anybody of psychosis or PTSD or anybody that's unwilling to have that grounded connection, because there's a fine line between genius and insanity. There's a fine line between working with the subconscious and going completely out, if that makes sense. So, but then on the same hand, I found that it's been able to help people with psychosis where no other treatment has helped. So I was working with one person with psychosis, and theirs was psychosis. It was, they were opening up their mind, but also a lot of it was their fears rather than seeing beyond the immediately visible. And even working with them, rather than coming to a mental institution every 6 months, I think it was quite regular working with me, then they didn't have any admissions, which was really lovely. And then also to be careful with somebody with psychological inflexibility, so some kinds of autism where it's such a fixed mind. This work can be so transformative. It can be a bit poor, when you're used to life being one way. But again, it's just a consideration, really. It's just being careful and gentle with them. And the people with autism and neurodiversities have been some of the, my most amazing people that I've worked with. They're absolutely, especially children, they're absolutely amazing at this work, amazing. So, but it's just, being considerate with them. I did do my own little study as well. I wanted to do a clinical study, but they told me that was PhD level. I wanted to do about the mechanisms, get a scientific framework like they've done with ACT on mindfulness, but they said that's PhD level. But what I did do is why people use shamanic practices as a form of complementary medicine. I worked with, 15 interviews and 1 survey, and it was a lovely mix of people. It was just random, social media, but I had 4 people that were just clients, 4 people that have obviously done the training, because when you do the training, you're a client, but then you also learn how to hold space for somebody, and if you don't need to ever do that. One was a scientist in Antarctica. He said, I don't, I've got my profession, I'm an engineer, but I will hold space for people sometimes. And then there were some professional practitioners, one that was retired, and then some teachers as well, including of the whole program. So it was a lovely mix, mainly, UK, US, Canada, France, and Germany there was, and lovely mix of people: quality manager, engineer, medical doctor, students. Yeah, it was lovely. And talking about all the different shamanic practice interventions, these are the ones that they listed. So these are all students that have worked with a practitioner from the Four Winds Society. I find they're quite like myself, really. When I teach, it's got quite a strong structure. I really value a strong structure. If you're going to work with the subconscious, a strong structure with which you can have flexibility is really beneficial. So this is just from one branch of one tributary of the Aweyndd, and all of these interventions were mentioned, and there's more that could be added. So there's a lot out there. There's a lot to it. If I was to summarize, I would say there's 1-to-1 sessions, there's workshops and meditation sessions, and there's full training. And some people do it for themselves, some people do it to become practitioners. But what you might notice about this, which I really like, is that the client, even the professional practitioners, even the retired professional practitioners, even the teacher of the full program are all clients as well. And I feel that's very integral, really, to keep doing it. So that's how I was looking. So why do people try them? Just to briefly, one day I might publish the paper, but all this is in my book anyway. I'll be released soon. Interestingly, it was not belief. I was quite like that. Some people are like, it's because they believe in it, but most of the participants, before they tried it, they had no belief. There was only one person that had a belief in it before they tried it. Other 50% either had an inner knowing, but most had no belief at all. And then interestingly, even after they continued use, some 1 year, 2 years, many years, the belief wasn't the majority. 4 was not fully believing, and others said the belief is not the right term, and then some had a belief. So it's quite nice that beliefs are not necessary. Again, but I think that relates to, it comes from experience. Is it belief when I've experienced it? These are different initial use of shamanic practices. Why different choices? So health was a real main one. It's similar to me, really. Other ones was experience or behavioural, personality, openness to experience, but most of it was health reasons, for wanting to avoid side effects of pharmaceuticals, to mental health, to physical health, trauma, PTSD, and then and to support conventional medical treatment. I really like the way that they can work together. And interestingly, like me, most came to it through suffering. It'd be nice if I, to get to it in other ways, and some people do, but 15 out of 16 people, when I asked what brought you to shamanic practices, the answer was around suffering. So someone was like, I can't take on any more of this. I was being split open anyway, being ripped open anyway, so it was like, what could be any worse? Having had lots of therapies and difficult medical interventions prior to this, I found those were ineffective. And it's just one of those things, isn't it? It'd be lovely if we had one therapy that would work for everybody. It's different things work for different people. Sometimes I thought I had nothing to lose. And the medical doctor said there are people who really care about their health. They've tried many things and nothing seemed to have worked. They don't know where to turn. So even the medical doctor saying that, with that, which just very, very common. And I was looking at continued use. So interesting, once the look at the continued use, there's more different reasons. It's not just health's still in there, but it becomes a lot more than that. It's like general well-being, recognizing, yes, we might heal something, but something else might come up, and you've got those tools. Some people with a sense of purpose to be the best they can be, to fulfill my potential. Some with continued development, to keep gaining insights and access wisdom. Others found it was just a way of life. Others because they found it to be effective. Others access, aligned with their values, and others they found support. So kind of branched out quite a lot. A few little quotes there. It's quite nice. I just want to be my best self, and for me that's physically, emotionally, energetically, on every level. To be honest, sometimes my soul's work, lifelong journey of growth for myself, a way of getting help to let go of stuff. Very important as therapists, isn't it? We need to be able to let go, to come unstuck if there's triggers, come back into balance, and making sure I'm in my highest potential. How do I become the best possible version of myself? Loads of value perceived outcomes there. Considering there's only 16 people, there was a lot of different outcomes there on different levels. I really like this one as example. What would have happened in that situation where I was completely hysterical? Somebody would just give me tranquilizers, but it would numbed it down. But there was a very good reason why I felt like that, and it went back a long way. And once it was dealt with and healed, I didn't need to feel like that anymore. So that thing never needs to come up again now, because it's done. So it's that difference. And the other one says it's changed everything: my physical health, my mental health, my emotional, my perception of the world, the way I interact with relationships, the way I speak to myself. Everything, the way I interact with the planet. So it's really nice. So I created this little model, came from it, which is lovely. With all my experience, maybe I ought to have expected this, but I didn't. But it was talking with these people. It's like, actually, there's loads of layers of impact on our health, and loads of layers that it worked with. So you've got the physical in the middle, the conscious, the subconscious, the emotional, behavioural, social, ecological, soul level, spiritual, collective consciousness, collective unconsciousness, universal consciousness, and the energetic field. All of those levels were all mentioned as outcomes and layers of impact, which is really interesting, and also helps explain why different therapies work for different things, I guess. Oh, great! I finished talking. I don't like to talk much. I like the experience. I thought it'd be really nice to do a little connection exercise, if that's okay with you. Would you be up for that? Have you got any questions before we carry on, or are we up for doing the exercise? Lovely.
Right, well, I am.
Lovely. So you'd have to read this, but it's just so it's there. So one of the things about it not being beliefs, it's about experience. If you're coming from experience, there are many commonalities that from an outside world, outside observer, like an anthropological, who's maybe not been trained in it or something, it'd be very easy to say it's a belief, because it's a religious belief. For example, the way people are connected with nature and connected with the earth, it's so common throughout all the different traditions that I've worked with. You might be so easy to say, it's because you've been told this, okay, I need to respect nature. But what I find it's through experience. It's a bit like people from different parts of the world finding the liver, for example. It's there to be found. I don't need to believe that a liver is there to find my liver. It's just there. So I thought I'd do this little one. Of the many practices I'd love to share with you, just a gentle connection with the earth. You might have done something similar, so if you'd like to do that. Right, so, okay. So, just a gentle little meditation to connect with the earth. So if you want to just take a moment just to make yourself comfortable. There's no set meditation position, it's just whatever feels good for you. And just gently let your mind know, letting your body know. My intention for this meditation, which is just simply to connect with ourselves and with the earth, and also the sun. And before the session, I opened up a sacred space. I can explain more about that. It's more setting that intention. You can call it a meditation space if that helps. So you could feel yourself held in a sacred space, in a meditation space. And you can also open up your personal sacred space. They call this opening up the viracocha. To do so in the mind's eye or physically is simply dipping about a foot above the head. And about a foot above the head there's a centre, and they call it the viracocha. So if you dip into that in the mind's eye or physically, and gently open up that meditation space around you. So it's like bringing a blanket or a cloak, a bubble around you. And just taking a moment just to feel yourself held in that personal sacred space. Held in all directions. If you like, you can explore that space with your arms, with your awareness, or just simply be in this space a moment. Feeling what you feel. It can be beautiful to take a moment to connect with ourselves. To do so, I love the meditation, the way to connect with the breath, beginning with the breath at the end of the nose. To that mind with that intention. And bring my awareness to the breath at the end of the nose. And just taking a moment to be curious and feel that breath at the end of the nose. Maybe feeling the temperature of the breath. Maybe hearing the sound of the breath as we breathe in and as we breathe out. Just letting the mind know, letting the body know, this is your time to meditate a moment, to be. And just remembering if your mind wanders, it's okay for the mind to wander. Just as it's okay to bring the mind back to that breath at the end of the nose. A lot of this work is just simply bringing our awareness to what is already there. Like this breath at the end of the nose. In each moment the breath is passing at the end of the nose. We're just gently bringing our awareness to this. And feeling how it feels, and it's lovely to stay with just that, but we're going to extend that a little bit further. So I invite you to bring your awareness to the breath as it flows through the body. So feeling how that breath flows through the body in each moment. Utilising words if that helps. Aware of my breath, I breathe in. aware of my breath. I breathe out. In your own time, in your own pace. As you feel your breath flow through the body, I'm going to invite you now just to bring your awareness now to the earth. That mind, that intention. I'm just bringing my awareness to the earth. Doing something that's there for you each moment, each day. Just simply bringing our awareness to the earth. Maybe we bring our awareness to the surface layers of the earth. Maybe bring our awareness deeper. That awareness of all the layers of the earth. From the subsoil to the bedrock. That awareness that there's mantle underneath that. The awareness of the earth's core. With that mind, that intention, you can send your awareness to that earth's core. Some people imagine, visualize, sense roots of light coming from the spine down. Others, it just goes straight down. Some others, it's just the awareness. It's however works for you. That mind, that intention, I'm bringing my awareness to the earth and the earth's core. Some people even bring their hands like this to direct that intention. Again, it's about finding however works for you. That mind, that intention. Sending my awareness to the earth and that earth's core. Utilising the breath of that helps to push that awareness deeper and deeper towards the core of the earth. Seeing how deep you can go towards that earth's core. Again, this is something that's there for you every day. We're just simply bringing our awareness to this. As you breathe with that awareness of the earth, maybe even the earth's core, allowing yourself to notice what you notice. You might like to imagine, visualize, sense of the earth having a breath. You could ask, if the earth was breathing, how might the earth breathe? And how might I breathe in harmony with the earth? And gently allow your breath to gently adjust, to breathe in harmony with the earth in this moment. As we breathe in harmony with the earth, if we breathe in harmony with the earth even for a moment, noticing what you notice. You might like to ask, what's beneficial to notice here? As I breathe in harmony with the awareness of the earth, what's beneficial to notice here? And then maybe asking, what does that mean to me in this moment, that which I'm noticing? What does that mean to me? And sometimes I like to ask, again just noticing what comes, if the earth had a word or image or a colour for me in this moment, what would it be? If the earth had a word, image or colour, what might it be? If we could truly listen to the earth, what might the earth say? What might you sense as you breathe with the earth in this moment? Breathing with that awareness and just feeling that awareness come from the centre of the earth now, flowing from the earth all the way up into the body, nourishing all the cells just as the earth nourishes all our cells in each moment, feeling that nourishment flow with that word, that image, that colour. Feeling it flow through the body. And if we choose, we can feel it flow all the way to the crown of the head. If we choose, we can send our awareness now from the crown of the head. You might like to send your awareness to all the layers of support of the sky, and the support of the sun. You might even like to send your awareness beyond the sun to a place of pure potential that supports all of this. And just breathing with that awareness, that sense, that pure potential, the sun, that pure potential. You send your awareness all the way up. And some people use their hands to direct it, some their breath. For others it just flows all the way up to that awareness of the sun, or awareness beyond the sun, the source of chi energy, source of life energy. And breathing with that awareness if you choose. Maybe that awareness of the sun that holds us just in the right place in this universe to grow life, that's supporting us even when it's the other side of the world to us. Maybe too that awareness, that pure potential beyond all of this. Breathing with that awareness and feeling that too flow through you. That connection flow through you, through the body, nourishing the body. Feeling it flow all the way through the body, through the spine, and coming back to the earth now, and that awareness of the earth. From the surface layers all the way down to that earth's core. Maybe visualize, sense, imagine that chi energy, that life energy, that awareness of the sun. Come and nourish that colour, that image, that sense of the core of the earth. That colour, that image, that feeling that you felt at that core of the earth. And taking a moment just to breathe with that awareness of the earth, again in this moment, this core of the earth. As we breathe with that awareness, you might like to ask, what's beneficial to do here in this moment? Breathe with the energy of the earth, or that awareness of the earth. You ask, what's beneficial to do in this moment? If you feel to do this, you can negotiate, but if you feel to, you can allow yourself to do that. As you ask, what's beneficial to do in this moment? allowing yourself to do that if you choose. Breathing with that awareness, and again feeling that awareness flow all the way up into the body, and feeling how this flows within you, supported by that sun, that pure potential, supported by the earth, and supported by the breath. In each moment, maybe coming back to those words, breathing in, I'm aware and breathing in, breathing out, I'm aware and breathing out. Maybe bring to words how that feels. In this moment, I feel. In this moment, I am. Whatever the I am would be if you completed that sentence. In this moment, I feel. In this moment, I am. And then when you're ready, if you'd like to bring back that meditation space, that would be lovely. Bringing it back to that place about a foot above the head. Bringing it into the heart, bringing it into the belly. Feeling that belly and that heart come to harmony with each other. With the words, in this moment, I am. In this moment, I feel. So we just take a few moments to reflect on anything you wish to remember. If you wish to write anything down, you can. It can be a bit like a dream. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. And the dream might fade. So if you want to write anything down, that'd be lovely. I just wanted to tell you this now before we go back into meditations. I can send you slides if you want to get in contact. So I've got my books coming up. Once I've finished editing it a million times. I've got some audio books online, YouTube, regular events. Oh, I did have the Conscious Workplace up here, Andrew, but I think I've edited it out. But yeah, we're doing some workplace things with Andrew as well. And got regular events, which is really nice as well. Around full moon and new moon. It's quite nice, we're in a culture now where we're kind of a little bit disassociated from the natural world, the natural times, the full moons and new moons. So we kind of do meditations rather than saying Monday or Tuesday or every Wednesday. We just do it around full moon and new moon and the astronomical times, which is really nice. My training is at normal times though, like I do on Sundays and things like that. It's about foot in both worlds, so I've got that, and I've got a few little references if people are interested as well. But I thought if we had time, just do a little journey, because again, this is about experience, and when I'm teaching or facilitating, I try to talk little and do more experience really. And then so I might give a tiny bit of theory, and then I give the experience, and then people share the experience, and then they say more than I could, because from that experience. So I thought it'd be really nice just to do a little journey. As I don't do considering drumming is a quite key part of many shamanic traditions. I don't actually do drumming very much in one-to-one sessions, a bit in the training, a lot in the meditations, but I thought it'd be really nice to do a nice guided journey and to connect with the archetype of shamanic practices. So then you can, if you're curious about shamanic practices, you can ask the archetype, what do shamanic practices mean to you? So I can say this research, I can say my own experiences, my research, but it's quite nice just to experience, if that makes sense. It is late at night, so if you find yourself going to sleep, don't worry about it. And we are recording it, so you can do it again. But the basic journey is the connecting with sacred space. I'd love to have more time to share this more with you, but it's just with the intention creating a sacred space. And then there are many different maps for the journey to journey into the subconscious. A lovely map that you might have come across is the one of a tree. You go to nature, you find a world tree, and from this world tree you meet a guide that can guide you. To me, this guide is an aspect of ourselves but that's me. You'll find other people might say different things, but to me, often it's like an aspect of ourselves that knows exactly where to go. Might appear in different ways. Just to say that, some people, it's not about seeing things. Some people are more kinesthetic. And even if you do see something, it might be very vague, it might be clear. It's just more about going with what is. And I find the more, when I first journeyed, I didn't see very much at all, just like maybe some shapes and not hardly anything. And now I see much more. But even now, sometimes it's vague, sometimes it's clear. It's more about going with what is. If that makes sense. Go to the tree, meet the guide, ask the guide to take us to meet with the archetype of shamanic practices, and come back to the tree. If that sounds okay for you.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. I might have to stand up for this. It was really weird. Whenever I listen to meditations, I'm always lying down if I can. But when I facilitate them, I like to be standing up. So I'm just going to stand up if that's all right. The drum. Now, I love drumming for a meditation. Really great for those of us in universities. At least at the beginning when I was doing my meditation, I was like, I can't meditate. And then I'd get the drum out and it'd be like, boom. I'd be off. So it is a really nice tool. I don't use it for everything, whereas some traditions do, but it's quite nice. Okay, I'm just going to check that. Oh yeah, I've got the audio settings right, and the sound is okay, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to do like a little mini version. Okay, so yeah, just taking a moment just to feel yourself where you are. You might like to have a little stretch. And then again, I'm going to invite you to open up your viracocha, your personal sacred space, dipping about a foot above the head, opening it up around you. So again, you're held in all directions in this meditation space. Now the thing about these guided journeys, they're journeys where it's beneficial to come from a connected, grounded place. We're not going out there to go out there. We're coming from we're grounded. When we're grounded in the space, connected to the earth, then part of us can go and journey within. So it's really beneficial to ground first. We've already done this a second ago, so we'll just do a really little check-in. So in that sacred space, taking a moment just to connect with that breath again at the end of the nose. Again, just bringing that awareness back. Oh yeah, this is the breath at the end of the nose. That's supporting me in each moment. And that sound of the breath. And just feeling how that breath flows, not just at the end of the nose, but all the way through the whole body. Feeling that connection to the body in the breath. Breathing in. I'm aware I'm breathing in. Breathing out. I'm aware I'm breathing out. So feeling that body, feeling that breath. And bringing our awareness, if we choose now, just to the earth again. So remembering we connect with the body, we've got that connection with the earth. Those surface layers all the way to the earth's core. Breathing with that awareness, that connection to the earth. Feeling how that flows through us. All the way up to the crown, from the crown up to the sun, and that place of pure potential. Just gently nudging, breathing in that awareness, that connection that we have. Feeling that connection flow through us, all the way to the earth, and that earth's core. Again, utilising words if that helps, breathing in I'm aware and breathing in with that connection, that support. Breathing out. I'm aware and breathing out with that awareness, that alignment to that connection, that support of the sun, pure potential, and that earth, that core of the earth. As we breathe that awareness, it could be lovely to set the intention to meet with the archetype of that which is called shamanic practices. Whichever word that you use, whether it's Aweyndd, could be the Paco, shaman, to meet with that archetype. It's with that intention, with that awareness. I invite you to find yourself in a place in nature. Imagine, visualize or sense yourself in that place in nature. If you imagine, visualize, sense yourself in the place in nature, what would it be like? Noticing what you notice. Are you more kinesthetic? Is it more of a feeling being in that place in nature? Are you more visual? Can you see shapes, images? And setting that intention to journey to the world tree, to meet with a guide that can guide us to that place where we can meet with the archetype of the shamanic practices. I invite you now to journey through that place in nature, to find an opening, to that place in nature where there is the world tree. As you come up to the opening, you can ask, is there anything I need to do before I step through to that place of the world tree? What's beneficial to do here? Carrying something, maybe it's time to put it down. Maybe it's time again just to remember our connection with the earth. Whatever it is for you, so you ask, what's beneficial to do here before I step through? And you can ask, may I step through? And when you're ready, stepping through to that place in nature where there is the world tree. If you're more kinesthetic, more feeling, you may just get that sense of that magnificence of that world tree, that wisdom holding us in the journey. If you're more visual, you may see it's a world tree, because when you look up it goes so high, you cannot even see how high it goes. When you're ready, coming closer and closer to that world tree, closer and closer. So close you get a sense of the bark. And you can speak with that world tree as if it's a person, as if they're a person. And you can ask that world tree, will you hold me while I journey? I'm here to journey to meet with the wisdom, the archetype of shamanic practices. This ancient wisdom that supported the humans for generations. Will you hold me in this journey? You feel a yes? I invite you to call on a guide in this place, turning round and calling on a guide. Saying, I call on a guide in this place. A guide, maybe an inner aspect of ourselves. A guide to come and assist me, to take me to meet with that wisdom of the shamanic practices. Noticing this guide come towards you. Maybe they're already there. And you can ask any questions and just notice what you notice. Again, sometimes the answers are vague, sometimes they're clear. Allowing yourself to be with what is. And you can ask, are you my guide here? Any questions, you can ask 3 times for clarity, if that helps. So you ask, are you my guide here? Sometimes they have a name. You might like to ask, and what is your name here? What shall I call you here? And sometimes they have a name for you here. You could say, what is my name here in this place? And you can say, I'm here to meet with the wisdom, the archetype of the Aweyndd of the shamanic practices. Will you guide me? Using the word, working with the word that feels beneficial for you. And say, will you guide me to meet with this wisdom of the Aweyndd shamanic practices? If you feel a yes, allowing the guide to guide you now, deeper and deeper into this place. Deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper, following that guide, maybe noticing any landmarks you pass as the guide guides you in this place. You may come to a threshold, a space where you sense, you step through, you'll find that wisdom, that archetype of the Aweyndd of the shamanic practices that supported humans on this earth, generations. Maybe asking, may I step in, may I step through to meet with that wisdom? And when you feel a yes, stepping through, and just noticing what you notice. Maybe asking, what's beneficial to notice here? And you can ask, and that which I'm noticing, what does that mean to me? And here you can ask to meet with the archetype, that wisdom of the shamanic practices, noticing that wisdom move towards you, you towards them. Noticing how this wisdom appears to you. And as you sense that wisdom, you could ask, are you the wisdom of the Aweyndd shamanic practices? Are you the wisdom here? The archetype for shamanic practices? When you ask, are you the wisdom of the Aweyndd of the shamanic practices? What do you notice? And you can ask this wisdom, you can ask, what's beneficial to learn here in this space? You can ask any questions you might like to ask. What does shamanic practices, what do shamanic practices mean to me in this moment? Noticing what you notice. You might like to ask this wisdom, is there anything I can do for you? What can I do for you for all the support you've given to so many generations? Is there anything I can do for you in this moment? answer, you can allowing yourself to do that if you choose. I'm going to give you some space now just to ask any questions or do what you feel to do in this space. Maybe just simply be in this space a moment. You might like to ask, is there a gift I can give here? An appreciation for all the support. And so much we've learned through those generations, those 35,000, 17,000 years more, and all that have come from that. Is there a gift I can give? Is there a symbol or image to represent that gift that I can give? Giving that gift if you choose. Perhaps there's a gift for you in this place. You could ask, is there a gift for me here in this place? This access with this wisdom. If there is a gift, what would it be? Or what is the gift here? And is there a symbol or image to represent that gift? Maybe holding that gift and asking that gift, that symbol, that image, feeling, maybe a colour. What do you mean to me in this moment? And how can I work with this gift? And if you choose, you can bring that gift into you. Feel it flow through you. It can be lovely to bring that into words. So completing these sentences and how it feels good for you. With this gift, I am. With this gift, I can. With this gift, I cultivate. With this gift, I feel. And then thanking that wisdom, thanking the space. Invite you now to turn back to that guide that brought you here, letting the guide know that you're ready to come back now. Allowing the guide to guide you back. All the way back, all the way back, all the way back to the world tree. All the way back, stepping out of that place, leaving behind anything to be left behind, and coming back to that tree, that sense of the bark. And as you come to that tree, that sense of the bark, thanking that world tree, It'd be lovely to offer a gift to that world tree. You might maybe asking, if there's a gift I could give, what would it be? Giving that gift if you choose. And then turning to the guide, thanking the guide for the journey. Offering to a gift if you like. Maybe asking, is there a gift that I can give you? And giving that gift if you choose. Or when you're ready now, turning and finding that opening where you came in. And when you're ready, coming through that opening to that place in nature where you began. And taking a moment just to breathe with that awareness, feel that awareness, that place in nature. And then breathe that awareness, feel that awareness of the breath and the body and that support of the earth. Maybe with those words, breathing in, I'm aware I'm breathing in, that support of the sun, of the earth. Breathing out, I'm aware I'm breathing out, that support of the sun and the earth. And if you received a gift, it could be lovely to bring it into the physical even more by reaching out physically. If the gift was in front of you and bringing that into the body. It's like letting the mind know, letting the body know that you'd like that gift or anything you wish to bring in to your everyday life. Maybe bringing that too into words as you bring this in physically. With this gift, I am. With this gift, I feel. And then when you're ready, just a case of bringing back that meditation space, that viracocha, that personal sacred space, like dipping under a cloak, bringing it up to that place about a foot above the head, and bringing that in, again to the heart, bringing it into the belly. Feeling that heart and that belly come into harmony with that gift, with the earth, maybe too with those words. In this moment, I am. In this moment, I feel. Feeling how that feels, maybe having a little stretch. And again, if you want to make any notes, anything you wish to remember, you can, or just take a few moments in this space.